Welcome, Expose Healthcare YouTube people. Um, so Thanksgiving's coming up. So I'm thankful that the past year I've had the ability to work not in a pharmacy. This has been very good for my mental health, physical health, kind of like self-worth. Um, so I want to talk on an article that I wrote in March where I interviewed ChatGPT on how to improve working conditions in U.S. pharmacies. There's a lot of problems right now with working conditions. That's been kind of a problem for a while, but people are starting to do something about it. And there's like even a new union that started, the Pharmacy Guild, which I encourage every worker in pharmacy to join. Even though I don't work in a pharmacy, I'm joining the Pharmacy Guild, started by a good group of people uh, that I trust. And let's get into this. So after a hiatus from ChatGPT, I recently started using it again, as it's just too useful. Let's start this Monday by doing a little interview with our favorite AI, where I ask what solutions can improve working conditions in U.S. pharmacies. To which ChatGPT answered the following. ChatGPT says, increasing staffing levels. One of the biggest challenges facing pharmacists is the heavy workload they face, which can lead to stress and burnout. Increasing staffing levels could help alleviate this problem by reducing the workload per pharmacist and enabling them to provide better care for their patients. To which I said, I agree, but companies aren't going to just do it. Without proper legislation, companies will minimize their staff hours to profit maximize. This needs to come from each board of pharmacy. However, I would recommend ideally coming from a federal level. We need federal minimum healthcare staff legislation for the purpose of safety, specifically patient safety. These are just as important as seatbelts. I mean, yeah, there's so many medical errors happening. I've written about this before, and one of the reasons why is because of poor staffing, burnout, and it's affecting all of us. It's safety. ChatGPT said, improving compensation and benefits. Many pharmacists feel they are not adequately compensated for their work, given the level of education and training required for the job. Improving compensation and benefits, such as offering health insurance, retirement plans, and paid time off, could help attract and retain qualified pharmacists. Again, I don't see companies just giving raises for no reason. Even the recent sign-on bonuses aren't enough, as the hourly salaries are still falling. Perhaps there should be a federal or state healthcare worker tax credit that is large enough to incentivize more people to work in healthcare. Since the pandemic, there's been an unprecedented mass exodus out of the healthcare sector by not only pharmacists, but nurses and doctors as well. What I would add is this is a little bit of an unpopular thing to say, but this is a bigger problem actually in the mom and pop pharmacies, from my experience. The bigger pharmacy you work at, you have 401k, you have healthcare, you have vacation, maternity, paternity, probably not a lot, but you have it. It's something on paper. Um, Life insurance, disability, all this kind of stuff. But the mom and pop pharmacies are actually, especially for technicians, really not good places in that regard. Um, so if there's like state, federal legislation that requires it or that it comes from the government um, somehow, kind of like an FMLA, that would be good. So, next, enhancing safety measures. Pharmacies can be dangerous places with a high risk of accidental exposure to drugs and other hazardous materials. Providing adequate safety training, personal protective and equipment, and other safety measures could help protect pharmacists and other pharmacy staff from harm. So, to that, ChatGPT. USP 800 has already made great strides in pharmacies with the highest risk to workers, such as compounding pharmacies, especially that prepare hazardous compounds. Perhaps the bigger concern is whether these pharmacies are preparing safe compounds for patients, especially if they're getting injectables. During the past couple of decades, there have been cases of meningitis due to contaminated compounds. However, due to USP 800 and this being front and center for compounding pharmacies, and non-competent pharmacies, they have to comply with USP 800 as well. This is probably now a much lower priority than the other solutions in this list. So, yeah, the safety to workers from the compounds, definitely USP 800 is filling that gap very well, in my opinion. ChatGPT says invest in technology. Technology can play a significant role in improving working conditions in pharmacies. For example, automated dispensing systems and electronic health records can help reduce the workload for pharmacists and improve patient safety. So, to that, I say automated dispensing and electronic health records has been popular for a few decades already. So, I would take technology to improve communication with patients and workflow, especially with all the clinical services pharmacies are beginning to offer. When a patient's coming in to get a vaccine, you don't want to minimize the process, as you don't as you don't want to vaccinate an angry patient. In regards to communication, it is 2023, so using technology like Fee Medical Chat, which is one of my clients, to allow for HIPAA compliant communication that will save your staff time on the phone. Um, I will say universal health record would be huge. So yeah, I definitely agree with ChatGPT saying that that's one of the biggest problems in America. Um, that's something that countries like South Korea, Israel, and so many um, socialized countries have like a universal health record. Um, so that's something we could definitely maximize from. Automated dispensing, yeah, I mean, that'd be great. Like the kind of like vending machine kind of things. Um, you just have to think of it kind of like how would that impact safety if a patient has a question, how do they ask a question? It could be a little bit difficult, but through chat that could be great. Decreasing the friction between a patient and a pharmacist, or another healthcare provider. All right, next, ChatGPT addressing workplace culture. Creating a positive workplace culture that prioritizes respect, collaboration, and work life balance could help reduce stress and improve job satisfaction for pharmacists and other pharmacy staff. Okay, culture is definitely something the government cannot change. So that is on the management at each pharmacy. You can't mandate good culture. If it is CVS Health, you got to go to Woonsocket, Rhode Island. However, it is Main Street Pharmacy that is the pharmacy owner. Culture, agreed, is super important. However, this is definitely not something as easy to change as the solutions above. I would say this is more like something to, if you are owner of a pharmacy, or if you are an executive at one of these pharmacy chains, this is kind of like directed to you. Or I guess if you're a pharmacy manager at one of these pharmacies, but you're kind of under duress, maybe a pharmacy supervisor. Culture, a culture of change, a culture of acceptance, a culture of um, not only the patient being the highest priority, but something that Bled Tano, the leader of the Pizza's Not Working movement and one of the starters of Pharmacy Guild, saying the provider is first, which is like a weird thing to think about. Instead of the patient first, the provider is first. The pharmacist comes first, which kind of makes sense when you're like in an airplane. You put, they say to put the air mask on yourself first, and then you put it on your baby. So you got to take care of yourself first, and then the baby. So as a provider or a pharmacy, take care of the staff first, and then they will be able to take care of the patients. Next, ChatGPT overall, improving working conditions in U.S. pharmacies will require a multifaceted approach that addresses staffing levels, compensation and benefits, safety measures, technology, and workplace culture. By taking these steps, pharmacies can create a better working environment for their staff, which will ultimately lead to better patient care and outcomes. Yeah, agreed. That will require, definitely agree. It requires a multifaceted approach. However, the big solutions need to come from our government to, first of all, create working conditions in the form of minimal staff hours in every healthcare facility. Perhaps OSHA needs to get involved, as pharmacies with limited staff have higher dispensing errors and therefore patients getting the wrong medications. Um, USP can get involved. In addition to minimal staff hours, the solutions from government need to minimize the paperwork for healthcare facilities and uncertainty in terms of payments. Healthcare facilities billed to insurance have no idea how much they're going to get, how much when they are going to get it, and even worse, if the insurance will take it away at some point due to arbitrary fees. Pharmacies all over the country are doing shady things not because they want to, but because they have to. I'll add to that the Pharmacy Guild, like I said, the Um, a pharmacy union could definitely help with this because they will negotiate on behalf of a group of pharmacists and pharmacy technicians for whatever that will make them happier, more engaged, and be able to take care of the patients better. It's complicated, but I've outlined in this video and in the original article some of the things that can be done. So I would really appreciate comments. What do you think um, can improve working conditions in pharmacies and healthcare overall? Do you disagree with anything I said? That'd be awesome. Love to see disagreements, and that's pretty much it. And hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, and be thankful for what you have, the people that you love, the people around you, and yeah, see you after the holiday.